Never did I ever witness an ounce of hostility from Jason towards her, period. Child Protective Services would have never, ever let a kid go with an abusive father. Why did Jason walk out of that place with the kid? Because he didn't abuse the kid. You don't have to be a philosopher or a lawyer or a judge to see that this is absolutely unfair. If it was in any other way, shape, or form, if we had been the other way, like you wouldn't hear the end of it, right? But because it's a man, and because and he's American, also there's like a bias, also perhaps
Of course.
Americans.
Hi, everybody. It's JayRy, and thank you for coming back for another episode of Justice for Del. Del is my son who just turned 4 years old. If you haven't been to the channel or you haven't watched this series, Del has been put in the middle of a very vicious custody battle where laws are being broken and humanity has been lost. And I'm his father. I'm his loving father. Been with him since the beginning of his life, teaching him, loving him, and he's been torn away. So this episode and this series is about finding justice for my son, finding justice for men. It's about custody rights. It's about the legal system in Costa Rica, which is where this is happening. And this is the second episode. But first, let me introduce my friend Jorge, who, what better person to talk about justice for Del than one of Del's greatest friends, you. Because, for those that don't know, again, Jorge's been my friend for years. Jorge was the first person who met Del after he was born, the first friend who met Del. Jorge picked us up from the airport after we flew back, helped get the car seat in.
And I was late. I'm so sorry.
Ancient history. But, you're one of the only people, of the friend groups who's come down to visit Del, hang out with Del, right? And you're a great friend, and you're a reasonable person that understands the bond of a father and son, and you've witnessed it firsthand for years, So Jorge is here. We're going to talk about some responses from the first episode, and then we're going to update the story a bit here in episode 2. Hello. Thank you for being here, my friend. And thank you for being a friend to Del and a friend of justice. And with that, what are your first thoughts?
Well, it was, first of all, I'm happy that you are being vocal about this and telling the story, because I hope that people out there also benefit. When I was in Costa Rica, I had no idea of how prevalent this type of power grabs using the legal system are. And it's extremely sad to know that laws that were meant to, well-intentioned laws to protect women against aggressors that are real people that are aggressive, violent, and so on, can be used with no evidence whatsoever to coerce men that are not bad, that are not violent, to do things like what is happening to you. And first, let me just, I want to tell the story, from watching your video. Of course, a lot of people, you covered a lot, but I would like to tell everyone, from my perspective, what happened and how I saw it in Costa Rica. I have an incredibly amazing group of friends from Costa Rica who have been reconnecting since a few years ago, because now we're getting older, and it's the 25-year anniversary of graduation and so on. It just so happens that Jason moves to Costa Rica because he's tired of the US and he wants to change. He loves Costa Rica. He went to Costa Rica. He enjoyed it very much. And he says, you know what? I want to raise my child in this country. And I say, hell yeah, Costa Rica is awesome. And so the plan, which you have been thinking about since I've met you, and I met you before the pandemic, so it was it's now at least 6 years, something like this, before Del, before his mom, before Socorro. I met you, and you had this plan of going to Costa Rica. It was not something that just came up. Like you had a very distinct idea of going to live here because you liked it. You liked it so much that you were willing to bring a child into the world in that country and raise it. I mean, that's a very big endorsement of the country, its culture, how they see the world, compared to the world that you were living in, which was not at all in integrity with what you wanted to be and to leave to your kid. So when I met you and when I met the mother of Del Socorro, I was friends with. This is also the very sad part. Like I was friends with both of you. Like it's not like when you told me what had happened, I was extremely shocked. So Jason moves to Costa Rica. Del is born in Costa Rica, in Escazú. And then they come back to the US. That's when I pick them up. That's when I meet Del for the first time. They're hanging out in Los Angeles for a little bit. That's where we both lived. I mean, where I still live. Right now I'm in Oxford because I'm about to shoot a movie, but I live in Los Angeles, where Jason used to live. And so after that, correct me if I'm wrong, but you go to Costa Rica and you kind of travel around Costa Rica for a little bit with baby Del, right? For like about, I don't know.
So Del was born in November 4th, 2021. We got to Costa Rica for the birth a few months ahead because, again, you shouldn't travel, in your 8th month and beyond, more or less. And then he was born. Then we got his American passport. We went back to the US. We were still, both working full time at that point, with American, like good paying jobs. And we went back to the US to start closing it up, because then in the end of June 2022 was the permanent move to Costa Rica. And so Del was about 7 months, came back. The plan was actually to buy a house in Fortuna, and then that deal fell through. So there was a little bit of wandering. Again, this is one of the giant, points of contention, is that Del's mother claims that she purchased the house in this country, and of course she didn't. And all of the debt and all of the transfers and all of the ownership between my family, it's all in perfectly clear record.
Yeah, that's important to.
So when you're saying that, I'm like, well, that's part of the contention.
Yeah. So, but just to make it clear for people watching who are watching this for the first time, like you wanted to come here. Not only did you want to have your kid here, your mom was also retiring in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Your mom was
exactly.
now 75. Is that correct? 75.
Turned 75. Yeah. Happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday, Mom. Yeah, that's right. You moved, basically what we say in film, you did like a company move of you and all your family and family that was going to be born to Costa Rica. The idea is like, this is where your mom was going to retire, and you had plans about doing stuff there besides being a full-time dad. Spend time with your kid. And then along the way, my understanding is along the way, these travels, like after the Fortuna house fell through and so on, you break up with Socorro. You're traveling, you're having. This is something else that I want people to know about you. And when you see Jason, he's big. He's like how tall are you?
Like 6'1".
6'1", but he's like a beast of a man. Like he's very big. He was a hockey player. He's very strong, and he's. I mean, I've worked out with him. He's incredibly strong. Why am I saying this? Because there's an immediate.
Why are you saying this? It's getting weird.
I'm saying this because there's a bias against men, and there's a bias against people that look big, and the opposite is the truth with Jason. He's like the gentle giant, probably because he's had to deal with this bias all his life, that people see him as scary. He has tattoos like you can see in the picture behind him, and he has to be in his best behavior. That since he was a kid, because the immediate assumption is that this guy is dangerous. It's just like it's a bias that people have. And so much so.
Which is a perfect reminder also that I have no criminal record. Zero. I have zero criminal record. I have zero domestic violence that I've ever done. Zero child abuse. Nothing.
Yeah. So clean record, perfectly clean record. And but I mean, to the point, like Jason is so controlled because of this bias that he had to unfair bias against him, that he's had like ulcers, problems in his stomach, that eventually led him to, while he was traveling around Costa Rica, to end up bleeding in a hospital emergency room, in an emergency bed, bleeding from every orifice. This is getting a little weird, but he was bleeding through every orifice in his
bleeding up and down. Yes.
bleeding from both sides. And it was when you were bleeding in this hospital that Socorro came in, and just she was not the best at all, and that's when you decided to break up. This is what you told me.
When I got back from the clinic, it wasn't even a full hospital, from the clinic. Yeah, she said, "You were cheating on me," and she had this story, and I'm like, "Are you effing kidding me?" Like, I'm fighting for my life in a country that I can barely speak limited Spanish, trying to explain my complicated history of my blood and my ulcer surgeries. And then I come back and my supposed partner can't for 1 second understand the trauma that I'm in. And then she adds to the trauma by saying, "You're cheating on me, you're doing this," and that, you know. But she was freaking out. I mean, she quit her job. She couldn't handle raising Dell. We had full-time help the whole time. Like, all of it. I get it was a lot, but I'm not the enemy. Like, I didn't, and she just kept for weeks, no matter how many times we talked about it, you know, she kept going, "No, I know, my intuition." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm done with you. I'm done. So, like, I'm not going to ever explain myself again as to where I am, because you have no ability to trust. Your insecurities have ended this relationship, just so you know. We can be parents. It's fine, but that's it." So and again, and it's like, what is the easiest thing to remember? The truth. And my kindness and my family's kindness was to, well, this didn't work out, but here, we all came down here, so let's at least, you know, like, still just be parents. And then, of course, everything's still my fault. Everything is still used against me.
Yeah, but hold on, let's go little by little. Yeah. It's important, right? People, the first question is like, well, why did they break up? People don't understand. People assume things, right? So why did they break up? Because you were bleeding in an emergency room, and she was accusing you of jealousy, instead of being supportive. And this was not just like for one day that you could not. This was like ongoing for weeks, where to the point that you were like, "Oh, you know what? I'm done." And then you say, well, the kid is like like 6 months old or something at this point, right? Or something like this.
Yeah, he was under a year. Mm-hmm.
So under a year, and you wisely, from my point of view, at the very least, you say, you know what? Like, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna separate the kid from either of us. Let me host you, basically. Let me host the mother of my child. It benefits me, it benefits the kid. I want us to be co-parents. This is an important, very important key point. We want us to be co-parents of Dell. And so from that point on, once the home was purchased, your mom's home, once your mom's home was purchased, so the mother of Dell, Socorro, was always sleeping in the guest room, which is right across from Dell.
We never shared a bed since since August August of 2022. Because even when we were in Sonafluca, which is just outside of La Fortuna, which is where we're going to finalize we, meaning my mother and I, were finalizing the deal to buy the Fortuna home. We were already sleeping in separate beds, already separated, and we never slept in a bed again. Everybody knows who's traveled with us, because every situation had to be booked of separate rooms or separate beds. 100%. Never slept in the same bed since August of 2022. No sex, no kissing, no hand holding, no I love you, no none of it.
Yeah, and I can attest to that, because I think I went maybe 2 or 3 times to stay with you at that house, at your mother's house. I stayed in the guest room, and Socorro slept with Del.
Right.
And your room was in another, at the end of the hallway. She never slept. I never saw you interact in any other capacity than co-parenting or roommates. Basically, you were roommates. And it was very clear. I understood it. It was very clear. The evidence supports it. Like, I saw it with my own eyes.
And we got along. Let's also be clear.
Yeah, that's a very important point. Like, it's not like you guys were at war. You guys were living, raising the kid. You paid a nanny also to help the child. The rearing is not that she was like there in paradise, because to me Costa Rica is like a paradise. Like, working and just doing all the duties of a mother, which are many, and not to underestimate at all the mother's duties. But she also had a full-time cook, a full-time person helping her with everything, so that she could also keep her job, which eventually she gave up and didn't tell you at all. And
she forced her financial burden on me and my family.
I mean, I did not have anything against Socorro from the beginning. It's not like as a matter of fact, I got along very well with her. It was very fun to hang out with the two of you in Los Angeles. When I received the phone call for people that don't know the whole story, right? So you've been living with her for like in this like happy, non-confrontational environment of co-parenting at your mother's house for like about 2 years. Is that around the time?
Well, August of 22 is when the split happened, and then the house in Escazú started in like November of 22. And then in May of 25 is when I got ambushed by the police in front of Del's Taekwondo class
But before that, let's go back to the coffee meeting. Because this is important.
So the coffee meeting was March of 25, yeah.
Okay, so let's walk people through that, because I know that maybe Socorro, you're looking at this, maybe Socorro's friends are looking at this, and this is like, I'm here because of Del. I'm not here against Socorro, Coco. I really would love for Del to just everybody gets over this. This is like tremendously unjust for him that there's a situation like this happening. And I know that like, it's like me against you and like all your friends again. I'm not trying to gang up against anybody here. I'm just trying to state the facts, because there's an inherent bias being used against Jason just because he's a man, and there's laws against men that protect women, and are being used right now extremely unfair. He has not given any testimony for this, and he has not seen his kid in 6 months. It's absolutely crazy. So on false accusations backed by no facts, a person that is angry because you broke up with her and never got what she wanted, which was a romantic story with you, for her own doing or whatever. Like, people have the right to break up with people, and if she didn't like it, I get it. But there are other deeper thing that is going on. I know you wanted to say something. Please go for it.
No, I was just going to say, like, and please tell everybody what you told me. You're getting to it, I know, but like, just to underscore your bias in this situation. Your bias is for Del, because you even said like, let me come down there, let me talk.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah. I'm gonna get to this for sure. Like when I heard the news, I thought this is insane. Let me talk to her. I mean, behavior complex maybe. Like right. Like I'll calm down and I'll fix it all. Like I'll just have to talk to her because it is
Not
absolutely insane.
necessarily a savior, not necessarily a savior complex. It's just I'm a third party that loves everybody involved. Let me just find out like what snapped. Why did it go from everybody tolerating everything and going along fine enough, agreeing on parenting about 98% of the time, not having conflict, to I've been abused for years. Get him away from his son.
Yeah. Yeah, but let's walk it. Let's walk people through it because it's important. Because my
Sure.
friends, when I tell them when I got there, I told them this. They immediately assume exactly like the bias. I'm like, oh, of course, without even knowing that you're big and strong. If they had to seen that, they would have been more convinced that you had been
And who's they?
obviously the abuser, huh?
Who's they?
Like anybody, my friends who I talk to men and women in my friends group, without people that didn't even know you. The fact that you were a man immediately ticked them off that of course you're wrong and you were at fault. And if they had also seen a picture of you or met you in person because you're big and strong and have tattoos, even more the bias would have been in tilting in that way. I get it. So I'm here to like dispel this bias because it's unfair that it's being used in this way.
And the easiest way to dispel the bias is with evidence. So again, how could somebody, we've already discussed this, but again, how could somebody say they've been physically abused for years and there's not one photograph, not one visit to the ER, not one call to the police, not one claim to your psychologist, not one text to a girlfriend, oh my God, he hit me so bad last night. Like, where?
Not only that, but I was there like twice in those 2 years that you guys were cohabiting, and I never saw. This is obviously false. I mean, people that are looking at this, they need to hear it from me too. This is false. There was nothing at all. Like they were a happy co-parenting couple. We went to like the club, whatever the club was. We went to like they'll swim. Jason would pay for everything. We were laughing all the time. We were having a good time. Never did I ever witness an ounce of hostility from Jason towards her. Period. Let it be known. Like this is my testament to this. I want this to be on record. And by the way, like I haven't been on record yet. I want to have this call with the justice system because I couldn't come down in person because I'm traveling, but I'm shooting. But as soon as I can, I'm gonna give this testimony. But let's go back for a second, because after this years of or this long time of cohabitating in a happy way that I personally witnessed, it got to a point where she says, I want out of this. I want to go back to California. Why did she ask to go back to California? That's a separate subject, and we can talk about this later. But the point is, she says, I want out. So she came and says, I want to leave Costa Rica. And you have this famous coffee scene that you told me about where everything is amicable, and she agrees. You talked about this in the previous video, but I want to make people understand. Or maybe we can talk about the motivations to why she wanted to leave first to make it super clear. She had like no friends in Costa Rica. Understandable, right? Like you move to a different country, you have your friends in California, you feel lonely, isolated, depressed, anxious. She, did maybe all the efforts to get friends, or maybe not enough, efforts to get friends. I know from personal experience that traveling and living in different countries takes a lot of effort to make friends, especially when you're older. It's not easy, and I completely understand Socorro being sad and wanting to go back and realizing it too late, perhaps that was a bad move to go to Costa Rica. Completely understandable, completely reasonable. Hey, I want to go back, Jason. Like I'm not happy here. I thought I would be happy here. I'm not happy here. And that was the conversation at the coffee. And you say, okay, let's do this the right way. Let's not attack each other. Let's not make this into a dispute, because why? Because the lawyers are gonna just drain us of all our money, and it's gonna be ugly, and let's not do this to Del. And she says yes, and she has this very positive attitude at first. At least this is a hearsay, because this is what you tell me, but of course I believe you, that she says yes, like I want
Well, if for all the people, and again, it's all on record. All the people I contacted immediately after this meeting, hey, she wants to go back. Things are changing. Like, why? So why would I send this note out in that moment of just sharing all of these things with my friend? Again, it's contemporaneous notes, right? That's how people actually behave, which is why I say, where's the contemporaneous notes about her supposedly being an abuse victim? Because she made it up. What was natural was, oh my God, I just had this coffee with my son's mother. I know that, like, she had to, she needed to go back to the States. She wanted to try and find a better job. She didn't want to live, under my thumb, as she called it, right? Great. I don't want that either. We've talked for years about, what is your plan? What are you going to do? Because this can't be like this forever. Like, I need to move on with my life too, and so, yeah. So I texted people, oh my gosh, she's going to go. She wants to go back. Wow. Like, this is great.
And in that meeting, the important thing is that you offered her money, and you offered her, can you walk us through that so that it's clear to
Yeah. So she said, again, which completely contradicts her supposed story of all this money she put into the house. She didn't say one thing about, oh, I need to get my money back out of the house that I put in it, because she didn't have any money in the house. She just made up that story later after, this great attorney of hers. She said, oh, it's going to be so hard. And I said, it's going to be really hard. I said, but the only way it's going to work is if we work together as a team. That's it. Because I'll fly you back, start going on interviews, go spend some time back up there, try and find a place. So she was offered $20,000 up front to help her spend, to like go back and get flights and whatever, hotels, or stay with friends, whatever. And she was offered $1,500 a month for a year, right? Again, there was a really generous boost. She does work, and she has a 4-year degree. Like, she has the capacity to be making the $1,000 a week she was making before she quit her job and put her financial burden on me and my family. Again, this is the way I'm talking about it now, because I've been unfairly persecuted by Del's mother and her supporters. But in that moment, I was like, no, of course, here, let me help you. Like, so all perfectly clear. To which then I hired an attorney. I said, you need to get your own attorney so that it can be legit. We write this agreement down and then go from there. So we ended that. We hugged. She said, oh yeah, I want to be at Del's baseball games together and be the couple that is right for him. And like,
no, but this was genuine. This was genuine when she said this. She wasn't acting.
Was it though? Because how do you go? Okay, so how could that be genuine? And then 4 weeks later, she signs with this other attorney. And
well, this is what I want to get to, right? This is my intuition, because I know her. Maybe I don't know her perfectly, but I've met her enough times, and I hang out with her, and I don't think what I am thinking, and this is why I want to get her off the hook and give her the chance to, like, this can all go away in a sense. Like, maybe not go away, because she's done enough that, like,
I love your optimism, please.
But like, this can stop getting so bad and worse. This could stop. And I'm gonna say that, I'm gonna just put it out there that I believe that when she told you that she wants to be a part of Dale's life, and that she wanted to, like, this to be amicable and so on and so forth, when in that famous coffee meeting, that she meant it, and she was authentic when she said it. I really think that I'm gonna give her the benefit of that. I don't think that she was inauthentic. So you say, well, then
I'm playing both sides of it
Okay.
because I was there. But I believed it too. Otherwise, why would I have written everybody saying, "Oh my
No,
God,
no,
she's..."
yeah. Well, there you go. So, and I think that you do, too. And I know that you're also very upset, obviously, extremely upset about this, with really, obviously, extremely legitimate reasons.
Oh, sorry, not to derail you, but the other thing was also I immediately called my family in Orange County, which is where she wanted to go back to, and I knew that there was a car that was for sale, and I said take that car off the sale because I might need it, and I was going to give her the car for her to have instant start when she went back there. So that was another thing. So it was the money, it was the monthly, and then a car. Like, I mean, I was incredibly helpful and kind. So
yeah, I mean, I mean, I have assumptions of what could have happened and why she made a left turn. Assumptions that probably, I mean, that I would, I empathize with. So, for example, so what happens is, I'm gonna say that she was genuine and authentic when she said so, that she wanted to do things properly and so on. Then 5 weeks later or so is when you get hit by this lawsuit. But there was a point before that. This is where it all changed from what a story that I remember, and it is that at like a couple of weeks later, when you're getting your lawyer and she's getting her lawyer to draft up this and make this legitimate and a clean separation and so on, she switches and she says to you, "You are manipulating me," and she goes cold. This is, of course, you're still living together, you haven't moved out, and a few weeks later is when you're in the Taekwondo class with Dell, the police show up and serve you with domestic violence papers. All of this without any evidence. And the evidence is that she was there with you for 5 weeks or so after that coffee meeting. So here's what I think. Here's what I think. And this is when you called me and you say, "Jorge, come down." And I say, "Okay." Well, that same day I fly to Costa Rica. I spend all night looking at these documents. I'm shocked at all these accusations that are baseless. And this is like chapter 2, but let me stay first with chapter 1, because people need to understand that, like, this is what my assumption is, okay? And this is why I think Socorro, hopefully, or her friends can talk her out of making this worse, okay? I get it. I put myself in her shoes and I say, how? I don't have any friends in Costa Rica. I'm flying around to get a little bit of this fix with my friends, because I'm leaving Dell behind with Jason, because I need to feel like close to people that I used to be close with. I get it, right? So I want to go back. But even if Jason offers me all this money, 20,000, a car, and a monthly, I'm not gonna leave my son behind. I'm not gonna leave my son in Costa Rica and then have to fly back to Costa Rica. Like, she gets in a mindset of like, I need to get this kid out of Costa Rica.
Yep.
How do I get the kid out of Costa Rica? Mm-hmm. And then you're talking to the lawyer, and the lawyer says, "Oh, well, funny you asked, because there is a way, and it pretty much works every time because of these laws that benefit women, and because they're predicated on this bias against men that exists. Oh, he has his big and tattoos, even better, no worries." And she goes and does this horrible move and the intention behind it is to be able to get the kid out of Costa Rica with her. And so that's the first chapter. I fly in to Costa Rica. I read all these documents. This is my assumption when I see this, and I'm like, this is crazy. Let me talk her out of this. And hopefully you're hearing this, and let me talk you out of that, at least that. Like, you can go to California and fly back, or you guys can make this work. They like this. Don't do this.
We talked about that during the coffee meeting. So just because it was going to be difficult doesn't mean that you hit me with a fake legal bat and just try and steal what you want. Like, of course, the reality of two people who've grown apart, raising a kid in part-time in different countries, of course that's difficult. But now it's been made 50 times extrapolated more difficult because of the despicable hatred with which these filings and these false
Well,
accusations.
from her point of view, like imagine this is a chess match, and the objective is for her to get Dell out of Costa Rica. So she's going to pile every possible accusation to smear you, which is what she's doing. She's smearing you. And so when that did not work, then she went after the house, which is not even yours. Because I'm like, well, if I'm going to stay in Costa Rica, I might as well just keep the house too. I mean, it's just like there's so much, and here's what I want to for just a brief moment get her off the hook, because this type of left turn is not there's two things. One, she's looking for her best interest, which is I want the kid with me. She believes that the kid will be better with her, and she does, or actually, extremely selfishly, she cannot live without the kid because she's extremely attached to the kid and she wants the kid always with her. That's another separate thing that at the Child Protective Services, this was addressed by the psychologists. The psychologists had to tell her, like, listen, we as mothers, because all of them were women, except you, being a mom, we think that the kid cannot live without us, but that's not true, and that's something that you have to understand. And so she's thinking survival, like, it's very wired in, and this is why I take her off the hook for this, because I get it. I understand, like, this is like primal behavior of survival and lie, and she will lie through her teeth to save the kid, because in her mind the kid is in danger, which means everything is in danger. So it's like red alert. I'll lie, I'll manipulate, I'll say whatever I have to say. And the lawyers, who are just interested in making money, see this desperate woman that wants to take her kid back to from this, away from Costa Rica, and say, oh, all you have to do is just like fill in the, let me help you redact this. And they're making all this money, and they're basically manipulating her into thinking that she can win something that, based on a lot of the cases that I've heard in Costa Rica, she probably thought that she could be another one of those cases where you win even if what you're alleging is completely false and baseless.
She has terrible, terrible advice. At a minimum.
At a minimum, terrible advice by people who have not, like, if I mean, just in principle, if you are a judge, you out there, you're a judge, and a person A brings you a case of abuse, you at the very least would hear the other side. I mean, to be fair.
Right.
But this is the whole point. This judge just grant her custody immediately and cut all of this, like, without hear me properly. Nobody from these lawyers, the judges have not heard Jason's side. I mean,
and to take it a step further, I was told I'm not allowed to reply. I'm not allowed to reply. I'm not allowed to appeal, which the Superior Court said, no, that's illegal. The judge is wrong.
There is no, I mean, you don't have to be a philosopher or a lawyer or a judge to see that this is absolutely unfair. Like, if it was in any other way, shape, or form, if we had been the other way, like, you wouldn't hear the end of it, right? But because it's a man, and because, whatever, and he's American also, there's like a bias also, perhaps,
of course,
Americans. It's very sad to me because, I grew up in Costa Rica. I love Costa Rica. My friends in Costa Rica are some of my best friends. And it's extremely sad. Again, like, I have lawyer friends who I told the story, and immediately their bias is like, oh yeah, but what did he do? I'm like, what the fuck? You haven't even heard what she did, and you immediately assume that the guy is in the wrong.
Well, again, it's an overcorrection. It's an overcorrection of, probably years and years of women being abused and nothing happening to the man. But that's not what this is. And
not only it's not what this is, but
the whole point of justice is you have to look at what's in front of you, not the history of the world. This case is about that boy. And that boy is being abused. Child abuse is when you take away a parent and a grandparent system and a friend group. All of those groups that he's been used to since he was born, all those support groups have been cut completely out with no evidence. That's child abuse. So again, I know you want to make it like softer for her, but it's not.
No,
I mean,
I'm not denying
she
it.
has to be accountable for what she decided. She's a grown adult, and if she's not going to be held accountable for the decisions that she made to perjure herself over and over and over again, then I mean, I'm not going to. I don't need to be the only person being reasonable and kind to my detriment, because
No. You're not. I don't think you're doing anything wrong. I think you're doing everything right. But I'm
not. I'm speaking to the universe.
okay.
I know you know the story because you've lived it. I'm saying that she's had every opportunity to be fair, to do the right thing, to think of our son as she pretended that she wanted to do from that coffee meeting. And the viciousness, the attacks, the money grab, the abuse of me, the abuse of Dell's grandmother, like enough. The courts are rolling in the right direction. They're just incredibly slow. But there's not going to be some. I love your optimism, but she's had every chance.
I mean, I'm more like thinking of Dell, like no matter if it's the 6 months, his birthday without you, Christmas probably without you. Like,
that's right.
How long is this going to go?
She kidnapped him on Father's Day weekend.
Oh yeah, to make it even worse.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let's talk about PANI and child services, because this is a very, very important point. So let us just assume, I'm just gonna play devil's advocate, just because it's also good for people to imagine that let's just say that Jason is bad for a second, right? Like that he took he's all these things. When I flew in, we went and picked up the kid from Dale's grandmother's home. From Jason's mom's home, and we took him. I recorded the video just in case, so that she could not allege anything. And she was this is when I wanted to talk to her. This is when I was like, okay, let me just talk to her. But she was so antsy, and I was like, whoa, maybe I can't talk to her right now. Let's just take Dale, whatever. So we take Dale, we go to the pool. And suddenly we get an email, well, me, not us, but Jason gets an email about he has to be, from the OIJ. OIJ is basically like the FBI. You said it in the first episode, but like the FBI of Costa Rica they're looking for him. And so Jason's lawyer says, let's go downtown to solve this right now.
Yeah, because this was basically at bedtime. Like Dell was already in his pajamas. This was late.
Yeah, this was after the pool. So we had a pool day. Everything was fine. We go up to the room, and there's this email. Lawyer, what should we do? Or we need to go downtown right now. So we go and pick up Dell's nanny. And we go with Dell's nanny and me and the kid. We're driving downtown. We meet the lawyer. We meet the people that actually had gone to where Jason was staying, like the OIJ people, just because that's their job, and they need to when they get a call saying there has been a kidnapping, which was the email by a man. The authorities, and this I have to give it to Costa Rica, incredible response.
That's right.
Protecting children. It's incredible. I'm so proud of Costa Rica for their banana republic that they are in many ways. Which all my friends probably agree with this. It's not like
before we go too fast, let's be crystal clear. OIJ went to where I was living after I got the first notice, and I voluntarily moved out. They went to that address looking for me and my son, claiming he was kidnapped.
Okay, yeah. So let me explain that to people because it's extremely important. Okay, so this is before when he was in the Taekwondo meeting and Jason gets served with the abuse charges. Jason, smartly enough, did not go back to the house to stay with this woman who claims that he's an abuser. For
Of
what?
course,
So that she can like now do whatever and say that he hit her or something and prove her case. No, immediately what he did is find himself another place. From this other place, so he left his mother's home, left Socorro with Del there.
voluntarily. It was not ordered.
Voluntarily, he said, like, you know what? I'm not gonna put myself. This woman is gone loco. I'm gonna like. So he gets another apartment. From that apartment, this is when he calls me and says, "Can you come down?" I fly down. I go to this place, and the next day I read all the text, all the whatever, all the evidence, all the lack of evidence rather, the claims. And then we go the next day. I have the video recording of us picking up Dale, and I tried to talk to her a little bit with Socorro, and she was like, not in a good spot for dialogue. And we leave. Then we have the pool day. We go home up to the apartment after, and that's when we see that there was kidnapping. I was there. We didn't kidnap. I personally told Socorro. Another thing, it's important because Jason at this point asks me, Jorge, I don't want to talk to this woman at all. Can you talk to her?
Because I already had this don't be mean to her. That was what the first judge said. Don't be mean to her. Not leave the house, not anything, right? So like the first judge got it right before then somehow magically the second judge was brought in and then ruled in her favor 9 times. So it was don't be mean to her. But again, when the police gave it to me, they told me I was being charged, which was not actually correct. So that's why I packed bags and I immediately got out because I'm like, I can't be around this woman who's lying. Like this is how men's lives get destroyed.
That's right.
And I'm not going to allow it. So anyway, the point was also. Go ahead.
No, another point. So when we go pick up Del, I'm recording, and Jason comes and puts food and fills up the house with food to make sure that both Socorro and the kid are taken care of. Like he's checking all the boxes, not only because I'm
just being the father that I've already been for 3.5 years.
Not only that, but also to avoid any possible.
Because I already knew that she was up to evil.
She could say anything at this
point. Her first swing at the court was put him in jail. I've been abused for years and give me a lot of money. That's it. Like I knew at that point where this was going. So that no, I'm not going to sit around and be a sucker. Like no way. And also she knew exactly where we were because again, how could she say he was kidnapped and she didn't? That was her story to the police. And then she told the police where to go find us because she knew where we were swimming at. And she had emails telling her, but let's ignore those. Let me just call the police and get the whole system fired up about a kidnapping.
Yeah.
When it's in fucking writing.
Yeah, and I told her. So when we went to pick up the kid, I personally told her, don't worry. It's not like we're gonna leave the country, which we couldn't even, right? Like you cannot leave the country.
Oh, you can't.
But like, I tell her like we're not gonna
without both parents present or signing off. We can't.
So I tell her to reassure her, like, hey, don't worry, we'll be back. You've had the kid now for like, I don't know, 5 days, so don't worry, we'll bring him back. We leave. That's when we do the pool day. We get the email, hey, you're kidnapping the kid. We go downtown. We meet with the OIJ for people that immediately see, oh, okay, this is not a case of kidnapping. This is like...
Of course not. And why would the kidnapper immediately show up?
Well, number one. Number two, this
I
is the
showed
best.
up. Oh, what? Okay. What's
Well,
going on? Okay, my lawyer. Okay, okay, great. Let's go.
everything is done by the book. And then the best part of this whole story, and this is why, like, this is the final nail in the coffin for this case, for in my view, and in the view of the people that were there. We go to Child Protective Services. We show up. Jason goes in with his lawyer. Corro goes in, and I'm witness to all of this. So
With her
Corro
lawyer.
goes in because I was there. And the nanny of Dell is with Dell in a room. This is like about like 10 p.m. right now. And 10
Where
p.m.
where Dell's being physically and medically observed.
Yeah. So yeah, Dell is getting checked to see if there's actually abuse, and like a doctor. And I remember it was 10 p.m. because that was the end of the shift, and we had to wait extra because there was a new psychologist coming in. So they go into, and so we have to wait a little bit. And I'm sitting in the waiting room with other kids that were abused, that they were,
So sad. I called it
yeah.
baby jail. Like, it was just so sad of a place.
I see it both ways. It's of course it's very sad that this happened. At the same time, what I was able to witness is that Costa Rica's systems for protecting children are incredibly good. Incredibly, I was so proud to see this, and so proud to see that, like, when Jason with his lawyer, Socorro with her legal representative go into this room with the psychologist to mediate. All of these, Jason's lawyer, Socorro, of course, Socorro's legal representative, and the psychologist, all women. I could not go in because their room was so small. Otherwise, I would have been in the room as well. So, but suffice to say that by the end of the meeting, the psychologist ruled in Jason's favor. They said basically, we're not leaving this room until we have a child custody agreement. The Child Protective, you have to understand, if you're watching this, it's like the Child Protective Services female says this man is no threat. Not only he's no threat, but like he should take the kid because it's his right to have the kid. And we have I took a picture of Jason with Dell at 1 a.m. of the next day, proving that we left Child Protective Services. Child Protective Services would have never, ever let a kid go with an abusive father. Why did Jason walk out of that place with the kid? Because he didn't abuse the kid.
Right.
Why did the child custody was 50-50? Because there was no signs of abuse. And the psychologist, when I remember looking at Socorro coming out, completely disfigured and getting into a car, like she could barely look at me. And Jason even thought about giving Dell to her. You remember? I was like, well, you can take the kid if you want. And Jason was like, you thought about it? I was like, yeah, maybe.
I did think about it. But again,
but the point being is that you even had, the thought of like, yeah, but then no, and so, but it was up to you.
But also, she said, "Can I go see my son, please?" Like, just right, and I'm like, go ahead, go say goodnight to him, right? And I'm like, see, this is where, again, this is exactly why we asked for psychological testing, because
yes,
that watching her in the room, like shaking on the table, and like, again, I'm telling 100% from my observations and living with this person, like something in her has snapped and has cracked. And what is, like, she didn't cry in hysterics of like seeing our son when she was partying with her friends in Colombia for 5 days. None of that. So why, when you were with him at 11 a.m. and now it's 1 a.m. and you caused this whole craziness with our son being in baby jail and child services, and you're, I see him. What is that? What is that? There's something wrong here. And I share your compliments because, again, like I really felt safe and heard with Pani and with child services, but then it was all undone. It was all, then her signature's in the file with the agreement. Then she comes back later and says, I didn't have legal representation. I was tricked. I didn't agree to anything. And it's like, again, like we're dealing with somebody unstable.
Yeah.
Will just do or say anything.
Well, it's not even my take on this is that it's desperation. It's not that maybe she's probably unstable. I mean, if she's thinking that there's any chance that she's going to lose the kid because she's going to California and she cannot take him with her, and she finds that to be unbearable, and she just cracked. I think that she just, unfortunately, like just lost footing, and she's being advised extremely poorly, and now she's deep into this. Who knows how much money she's spending? Who knows what she's having to do to pay for all of this crap? You know, and all my message to you, Socorro, if you're listening to this, or to Socorro's friends, is like, please stop this. This is absolutely crazy. And it's not about, oh, let's give it to the man. Think about Dell. The kid is without his father, a father that is not violent, that is not all of this bullshit that she has come up with to smear him, to be able to snatch him away because she just can't take living in Costa Rica and wants to go back to her friends. I totally support that. Go back to your friends, but it's not fair that you take the kid away and invent on top of that lies to make this happen. That is absolutely not right. It is not fair.
I want to give the $10,000 challenge for this week.
Yes.
And we just talked about it, so I'm going to make it about child services. Socorro claimed in court that she never had any legal representation with her. She claimed that she did not agree to anything and that she was tricked. So this week's $10,000 challenge for anybody out there who can provide actual evidence, she said, to the judge that there was no custody and that she had no legal representation and she was tricked. So we all know that's a lie because I have all of it and I have her signature in the file. I have all of it. But again, every episode, the lies and the deceit and the disgust are going to be pointed out. So that's this week's $10,000 challenge. Please show us your evidence to back up that you were at child services, you were tricked, you had no legal representation. And that's how they decided to rule against the woman. Yeah, right. Nonsense. Jorge, we could talk for 12 hours, but I think this is great. I appreciate you being on. Again, everybody out there, don't be mistaken. This is justice for a little boy who loves his father and whose father did everything on earth to move him to this country, to be in a different place with a different vibe. And I've never harmed women. I've never harmed children, none of that. So this is an outrage. We're here to get justice for Dell, and we're here to get justice for all. This is why, like, so many, people have responded. Please keep responding. It's JayRyWorld here on YouTube. Again, if you don't want your comment to be public, that's fine, no problem. Also, JayRyWorld is an Instagram, and JayRyWorld is also a Gmail. So any way that you want to be involved, or you just want to tell me your story, or you want to be a guest, all of it is available. The system is slow. I believe in it because I have to, because this is what there is in this country. But justice is coming, and that's it. I appreciate your prayers. I appreciate, everybody sending their best possible energy and love, for my boy. It's not an anti-woman statement. It's a pro-man statement, and it's a pro-father statement, and it's a pro-parent statement of what this is about. So thank you all for being here. Any final words, Jorge, on this episode?
For Dell, if you're watching this, Dell, we're here for you. We can't wait for you to come back.
That's right. Daddy loves you, and we're gonna pick up where we left off, buddy. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Stay in touch, join the conversation, and we're going to keep fighting until we get justice for Del. Thank you, everybody.